Welcome to a Saturday episode of Motion Unfiltered.
We still got on the same.
We got on the same clothes. We trapping. That's what we trapping. This what we do. But this one is a little different.
A little touchy.
It's a little touchy subject. My question for you guys today is: do you feel as though going to church is dead?
I actually don't. I don't feel like going to church is dead. I feel like it's like it depends on where you are in your spiritual journey, for real. Because it was a point in time where I took a break from church. You know, just because how I was feeling in church, the vibe I was getting from it. I didn't really feel like I was learning nothing. I felt like I needed to take a step back to actually take a few steps forward, just in my faith and then in actually just me learning myself. You know, I was taking what the preacher said, what the deacon said, you know, what other older people in the church said, and that's all I would hear. Like every time I would read, I wasn't hearing like how I actually felt about the scripture. So you know, that's what I did when I was actually out of church. Is just, you know, read for myself, get my own opinion of the Bible, get my own opinion of the verses. But I do feel like church is definitely not dead, because there are a lot of good preachers out there that, like, sometimes, like if they're preaching actually, and it's an actual word from God, not them preaching off of, hey, I know this person gonna be here today, and I know the situation that they in, so I'm gonna pick a scripture just for them, so I can talk about their situation, so they can feel some type of way. Like if you just come randomly into a church, and then that scripture hits you, what the preacher's saying touch you in a different way, spark something in your mind in a way that you ain't felt in a while. Like it's definitely a good thing, you know, because that could just change your perspective, give you a little bit more faith, give you a little bit more courage, just in the steps that you've taken. And I don't feel like going to church every single Sunday is what you're supposed to do. I do feel like you're supposed to, you know, fellowship with people, you know. Basically, you should fellowship with people every day, and not just specifically on one day. And I feel like you should go out and try to, instead of being in church with people that are already saved, go look for people that's not saved. You out there in the streets just talking to people. Somebody you come across might not know Jesus. So yeah, that's how I feel about that.
Now, did you say it's going to church dead, or is church dead?
It's church dead.
Like the actual building?
Yes, whatever you want to take it as. You want to take it as the building. If you want to take it as it's going to church dead, or if you want to take it as it's religion dying.
Well, because when I think about church, I don't think about the building. I don't think about the big organization. I think about the people. In church, without getting too spiritual, it's the only place where generations pass down traditions. You look in households, people don't pass down traditions. Hell, families barely spend time with each other. Now it is some exceptions. I see you guys, I see my brothers, and I love that. But hell, families don't even spend time with each other. They call each other when they need something. Yeah. But when you got a church and then you see them bring their kids, you literally see them pass down traditions. Like, okay, this is how we praise and worship. This is how you pray. This is how you read scripture. This is how you find certain scriptures in the Bible. This is kind of breakdown. But only when you go to that. Now, when I'm going back to the building, only when you go to that right building. Like, if you're going to go to some buildings and to some actual churches where the people, that church is fucked up. You're going to go to some places where they're not giving you the word, which is alive. They're giving you their word, which has no meaning, has no power, is void. So you got to make sure you find that right church, and you really got to feel it. But just to be short, yeah, when you got that right church, it's definitely alive because I believe the word is alive. It's the only book that when you read, it reads you, it reads your situation. And especially when you pass that down to your kids, they'll very appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
What about you?
I don't know. So my main thought is, I do personally feel that religion is dying. I feel as though a lot of people are detaching from religion.
Or you feel like they're trying to conform religion to what they want it to be?
No, I think they're detaching from it because of all of the corruption that goes on in churches.
Oh, yeah.
Because a lot of people can't get past the person that's delivering the word. You know, if the pastor is living foul or whatnot, they got some stuff going on the side. A lot of people don't understand the offering piece of it and whatnot. A lot of people can't get past that, and that's pulling them away from church and whatnot. Like I personally, I don't go as often as I used to, but my situation is different. I feel as though I use church to start to understand spirituality. And that's been more of the path that I've been on as of late, because at first I used Jesus as a crutch. So I felt like when I knew Jesus, I'm like, all right, I'm good, I'm straight, I can do whatever I need to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm living as a good person and I'm good. Yeah. But as I started getting older and whatnot, I started to move Jesus out the way. And I started to seek God because I was short, I was cutting off. I was letting the pastor tell me what the word was, and I was making my interpretations off of that instead of researching for myself, instead of living for myself, instead of looking to see who God is to me and whatnot. And that's the different approach that I've been on as of lately. And I'm starting to gain more understanding down that path. And I feel a lot of other people are actually taking that route, but I feel like a lot of people are missing the step as far as getting in the routine of going to church and learning from different people about spirituality. One thing that happened to me that changed my life is I was at an internship when I was 18, and I had a conversation with a Mormon, and we were talking about religion and whatnot, and religion there's really only one religion. And we literally had that conversation. As I start having more conversation with people outside of my religion and whatnot, I started to understand the purpose of what God is trying to teach us. So I definitely understand that we are here together, but our purpose is to live in harmony. And we have to figure out how to get back to that. And I feel as though religions are dividing us because we treat religions like we treat races. Like if you are black, right?
I'll be over here.
You be like, all right, I'm dark skinned, this nigga light skinned. That's like Baptist and Catholic. You under the same umbrella, but you different. Then you got Muslims and you got Christians. You got Jews and you got Roman Catholic, etc. You got all these different religions, and it's separating us and it's getting us further from that one goal.
But we're under the same umbrella.
That's because a lot of those different denominations have their own agendas.
They got their own practices too.
Right.
Yeah, they got their own practices.
They made up their own practices. They made up their own, rules. They basically, like I was saying, they conform. They were trying to conform the religion specifically to them, specifically to what they think is right, what their needs are. I mean, but even if you go back further, you look at the Roman Catholics, who a lot of people say that's where the Illuminati came from. So you got that. Then you got all these. Even if you go to Baptist, I was about to say Catholic. You got bishops, you got popes. Then you go into the I want to say that's Methodist. It's another religion. They have archbishops. I'm like, bro, if we follow Jesus, like how we say we are, Jesus was closest to God, and he wasn't none of that. Well, the thing is, people want power.
Yeah, exactly.
How do you get more power? You add a title onto it. Yeah. And that's what they doing. That's what's happening with religion. They adding on titles so they can get more